You are now tuned in to the GNWY podcast.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in to another Generation Y podcast. And today's episode, Alex, what's today's episode? What number we got? 21. 21. So we have got a good friend of mine, lifelong friend, bro. Spencer Jackson is in the building today. My guy, how you feeling?
Wonderful.
Okay, excellent. You look like you've been working. You're a grown man.
Yes, sir. Yes,
That's
sir.
what's up. Yes, sir, bro. So for one, we go way back, right?
Yes.
We used to wrestle each other at my house.
Yes.
You used to like pop lock and drop it on my mom.
Yeah.
So he said, "Yeah,
Shelly's an amazing woman.
She is. That's why I keep her around." So for one, how's Corona treating you? You doing good throughout this whole thing?
Good. Steady working.
The whole Pepsi thing hasn't slowed you down?
Not at all.
Yeah, so you unload and load for Pepsi, yes?
Yes, sir.
You're like a real man.
Yes. Out in the heat.
Yeah, definitely. So I want to get into, for people who do not know, like I know the amazing Spencer and who he is, you know what I'm saying? You've got a pretty dope story, yeah?
Yeah.
And you're a survivor pretty much.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what you want to give us a little rundown of like from where you started whenever you were in high school and like how that was, because you're a big wrestler, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and then you went to college for wrestling,
Yeah.
and
football.
then what was that whole process like?
So I started out high school, El Reno.
Yeah,
Pretty normal.
Yeah.
Didn't really drink, didn't really smoke.
Yeah.
I focused a lot of it on sports. That was never really my scene. You know, I'd go to parties, but drink every now and then, smoke every now and then.
yeah,
Never really did too much. So then I went to college,
Yeah.
and same thing. A little bit here and there, you know.
yeah.
But came home from college my sophomore year, and got an apartment with my cousin.
Yeah.
And one weekend we just decided to try coke, and nothing really led up to it. You know, I talked to a lot of people who went through a lot of traumatizing stuff in their life.
Yeah.
You know, rape, abuse, a lot of death, and I didn't really
Yeah.
have that.
Yeah.
You know, I had a great childhood,
Yeah,
great parents,
yeah.
great life, and
And you're an only child, so like
only child. Yeah.
Did you feel like that could have been a pressure too? You know what I'm saying?
It probably was a little bit.
Yeah.
I see it more now than I did
Yeah.
then. But you know, just one weekend we tried that, and kind of like everything else, it just really didn't do it for me.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was. Now I think I was looking for something,
Yeah.
but whatever I was looking for, that wasn't it.
Yeah.
So following week, my cousin came home from work and had something else. I was sorry, let me go back. Growing up, I was completely blind to drugs.
Yeah.
My parents sheltered me from that.
Yeah.
I was never around anything. So he brought home something, told me to do a line.
Yeah.
And so I did. Come to find out it was meth.
Yeah.
And from about that day forward for 4 to 5 years, it was an everyday thing.
Wow.
Yeah. At the time I started, I had my own house, my own car, had a great job. That all changed pretty fast.
Yeah.
I was working out every day. It was big. Started doing that, and it kind of went from once every now and then, once a week, to every day.
Right.
And I went gradually from snorting it, smoking it, to an IV user.
Yeah. Wow.
And once that happened, it all changed. I went from kind of wanting to do it to needing to do it, having to do it every single day. I couldn't function.
Wow.
And so that went on for about 2-3 years, and I was using every day. I'd lost the trust of my parents. I'd lost everything.
Yeah.
I still had, they talk about hitting rock bottom.
Yeah.
And I still had a house, still had a car, had a job, had a girlfriend. So for me, I hadn't hit rock bottom yet.
Yeah.
I thought, hey, I still have all this. So I called myself an active user, a functioning user.
Functioning, yeah.
And so after I'd been doing it for about 4 years, I lost my house. So I still had my car, still had a job, still had my girlfriend. And so I still didn't think, I knew I was an addict, but I didn't think I was like the rest of them.
Right.
I still had stuff.
Like you can control it or something.
I was still thinking I was controlling it.
Yeah.
Now looking back, my life was
It
horrible.
was controlling you.
Yeah, unmanageable.
Yeah.
And so that went on for a little while, living out of my car. I had a girl she was using too.
Yeah.
We were sleeping in horrible places.
Yeah.
And growing up, man, I said, I'd see people like that and be like, never be like that.
Right.
I would never be that.
Yeah.
Looking in the mirror while I was doing it, I was just disgusted with myself.
Yeah.
And so still had her, still had my car. Well, I was coming home from the casino one night about 4 a.m, fell asleep driving, totaled my car out.
Wow.
Yeah, I hit a car so hard that they had to use 2 wreckers to sit there and pull them apart.
Yeah.
And I walked away without a scratch.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now looking back, I had a lot of people praying for me.
Yeah, definitely. For sure.
So I lost my car, thought I still had my girl. So everything was...
It's crazy how they stick around, even without the car. Come on.
And so I still had her, so everything was still all right, I thought.
Right.
And one day, she had went to go see her son. I got mad and got crazy. It happened multiple times. And ended up throwing a brick through her baby daddy's window.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so through that whole time, I'd never been in trouble with the law, though.
Yeah.
Everything that I did, I'd never been in trouble.
Yeah.
And so that happened, and...
You must have been pissed.
Yeah.
Yikes.
And now looking back, it was probably over... I don't even remember what it was over.
Right.
But that was my first encounter with El Reno Police Department.
Yeah.
So I took off running.
What?
They went out...
Were you high
Yes.
at the time?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
So I ran to my grandma's house.
Safest place in the world.
That's what I thought.
That's what I thought.
And so they went out to my mom's work looking for me.
Yeah.
They went to my aunt's house looking for me, and my mom ended up getting a hold of me, and she said, "Hey, they just want to talk to you."
Yeah,
And
right.
I was like, "No, I know how this works."
Right.
And so anyway, I ended up talking to this awesome cop. I wish I knew his name today, but he said, "We know about you. We know what you're doing, the kind of life you're living." He said, "And she wants to press charges." And he said, "I've kind of talked her into, if you can just leave her alone, it'll all be done."
Wow.
So my mom had been begging me to go to rehab for a long time, but I still was living that life, and I wasn't ready yet.
Yeah.
And I told her, I never played around about it. I said, I'm not going. I did not want to go. For one, I knew that's when it was going to stop. That's when the life was going to stop.
Yeah.
And I had come to in my head, I had come to the conclusion that this was my life.
Yeah.
For the rest of my life, I'll be a drug addict.
Yeah. And you're okay with it?
I was at peace with it, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Now looking back, that messes with me. To be okay with that is a place I never thought I'd be.
Yeah.
And so that happened, and I told her I'd go to rehab.
Yeah.
And so we loaded up the car. It took me about 3 days to get in. And I went to a rehab, a 30-day. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me at the time.
Yeah.
I put on about 40 pounds in a month.
Yeah.
Got some much needed sleep.
Yeah.
And I got it, was about to get out, and they said, we think you need longer. They think you need to go somewhere. And so I was over it. I said, I'm not going to do that. That's all I had to do was get sober this one time.
Right.
And everything would be all right.
Thing after that, though.
Yeah. And so I came out, didn't go to meetings, didn't go, actually the day I got out, I went and had a beer.
Let's celebrate.
And so in my head, I said, if I cannot shoot methamphetamine, I'll be all right.
Right.
Was going over to a sober house. I was living in a sober house.
Yeah.
And met a girl. And
that's how it works.
Yeah, and she was cool.
Yeah.
Within about a month, I knew she was everything I ever wanted.
Yeah.
She was sober, almost same sober dates, actually.
Okay.
And so moved her into my mom and dad's house.
Yeah. That's the one I want. Move her in.
Proposed to her about 6 months after us being together.
Yeah.
She said yes.
Thank God, yeah.
Within about 2 months after that, found out she was pregnant with our first kid.
My guy.
And so at the time, that's what I thought I wanted.
Yeah.
I'd been living crazy, in and out, wild, and that's what I was like, it's time to settle down. That's what I thought. That's how I thought this whole thing worked. I thought there was a pattern: get married, have kids, work. That's it. And so within about a year, 9 months to a year from getting out of rehab the first time, I had a wife and a house and a kid on the way and a job, and it all hit me really fast. Kind of I don't think I was ready for what I had.
Yeah.
And so I hadn't been doing anything, so I started to drink a little bit. Get off of work, and that's what you do. You have a glass of whiskey. Mm-hmm. That wasn't nothing. Well, that started to become an every night thing, and it helped.
Yeah.
It helped me to get through it. Oh, you're good. And so There we go. And so it became an every night thing.
Yeah.
And I still couldn't see I had a problem.
Yeah.
It was kind of like before. I'm still going to work every day. I'm still doing everything right, what I thought was right.
Yeah.
And so February 10th, my son was born. And that was like nothing else I'd ever experienced.
Yeah.
And I said, that's it. That's what I needed. Yeah. And so I came home from the hospital. We came home on Valentine's Day. And I bought my wife a bottle of wine and thought it would be, romantic. And so I got drunk the night that we brought him home.
Wow.
She had a C-section and couldn't even hardly get up with the kid, and I got passed out drunk.
Wow.
Still didn't see I had a problem.
Yeah.
Didn't think I did. And so my wife had to watch me drink every night and went to newborn pictures. He's a month old, something like that. I got so drunk before that they had to make me stay outside.
Wow.
Yeah. Just another thing.
Yeah.
Still not seeing the big picture that it was affecting my whole life.
Yeah.
I would get off work to come home to drink.
Yeah.
My wife started drinking a little bit, having to see me do it every day.
Right.
She started to do it. Then it went downhill pretty fast.
Yeah.
Within 3 to 4 months of us both drinking, it was bad. Thank God that we had grandparents who helped on my son. Because if we didn't have them, I don't know where my son would be at or where I would be at.
Yeah.
And so even with all that happening, I still didn't see that my life was a wreck.
Yeah.
I was still going to work.
It's crazy.
And still had a house and still had a car.
Right.
And so one day I was going to pick him up and wrecked my car again, blew out both the front tires, and ended up making it back home on a beat-up car and pulled in the parking lot, and cops showed up behind me. And I had a CDL. I was driving a truck for a living, and I said, man, if I get a DUI, that's everything.
That's over, yeah.
And so, long story short, I didn't get in trouble because I wasn't actually driving the vehicle when they came.
Dang.
And so my mom came and picked me up, was with my son, and she was like, do you not see what you're doing?
Yeah.
She was like, you got a beautiful baby boy here, and I just blur.
Yeah.
Didn't care about anything.
Yeah.
And me and my wife, we were about to get a divorce. I was sleeping on my parents' couch, seeing my son grow up, but not being there.
Yeah.
And so my wife called, and it was on a Thursday, and she said, hey, I'm gonna go to rehab. I need it. And so I told her, actually what I told her, I said, yeah, you really do need rehab.
Oh my God.
So that next day, I went to work, and 4 o'clock in the morning, and I got a random drug test and breathalyzer, and I blew .09 at about 5 in the morning.
Wow.
Yeah, so got fired from that job.
Yeah.
Same cycle.
Yeah.
One after the next. And so I told her, I was like, okay, I'll go to rehab too. Thinking I had made everyone mad around me. Lost trust again. And so I said, in my head, I said, I'll do this.
Just to make everybody else happy.
Get them off my back.
Yeah, yeah.
And so ended up going to another treatment facility. And something was different about it this time. Once I came out of that fog, I saw everything I had. I was like, man, I have a beautiful baby boy, something I've always wanted. And I'm just letting it go away.
Yeah.
You know, he was probably a year old when we went, and I couldn't tell you when he first walked, when he first talked.
Yeah.
Nothing. And so something was different about it that time. And so I went through that 30-day, and coming up to the end, and I told my wife and the counselors, I said, hey, I'm not ready. I said, if I go home, I will drink again.
Yeah.
And so I ended up, my wife she felt the same way, and we had already kind of put our son on the back burner for so long. I said, I want to do this for him.
Yeah.
So I went to another treatment facility in Arizona for another 60 days. And she was in a women's house, I was in a men's house. And while we were there, found out she was pregnant. Yeah.
Dang.
And so in my back of my mind, I'm thinking, man, this is how it started last time.
Yeah.
The stress, the nerves. I was like, I don't want to do this again.
Yeah.
And so we came home just a little bit early from Arizona and got a house. We had lost our other house in the process of it all.
Yeah.
Started attending some 12-step meetings. Went every night. It's just something about this time. I just didn't want to mess up.
Yeah.
I was tired of feeling like a failure.
Yeah.
Growing up, man, I saw family members, friends be that, and I had always said I didn't want to be that, and I grew into what I never wanted to be.
Yeah. Wow.
And something inside me switched, and so me and her had the same sober date, September 16, 2016.
Yeah. That's what's up, man.
And so ever since then...
so what's that, 4 years?
4 years. September will be 4 years.
That's crazy.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. I'm proud of you.
And then never thinking that I would have that long sober.
Yeah. So, yeah, being 4 years sober now, like, what is it? I mean, you say that you never thought that you would be sober this long.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even want this whole like podcast to be like a confessional time for you. You know what I'm saying? Because I want people to understand that, like, I mean, knowing you through this whole process too has been made, like, even from high school to like, college age and everything. Every time I would see you, you still like put off like everything was okay and still fun, Spencer, and all that kind of stuff. And so
that's the thing about an alcoholic, and drug addict.
Right.
We're good at pretending.
Right. Yeah. And so, like, through this 4-year process, like, how do you kind of see life now versus 4 years ago?
I have a purpose now.
Yeah.
Where before I was just going through the motions, and I honestly believe that God put me here for a reason, and every single day I wake up grateful.
Definitely.
To be able to look at the life I have now from where I have is nothing short of a miracle.
Yeah. And there's a lot of times like you'll call me up and we'll go drive around and have counseling session.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a lot cheaper than a real one.
Yes, it is.
But and I'll say this all the time, you know what I'm saying? But like I'm proud of you, bro, of like everything that you've done. And you even taking family into your own house and taking the weight of that. And I know that's probably even more stressful. You wake up at what time? 3 a.m.?
3 a.m.
3 a.m. to go to work. And like you just hard working, grinding the whole time. And so seeing this whole transition, man, has definitely been a night and day pretty much.
I appreciate that.
Know? So I appreciate you coming on, bro.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, you about to say something. What were you about to say?
Oh, just talking about my cousin. I was,
oh, yeah.
You know, I have a soft spot for alcoholics and drug addicts now.
Right.
From when you're in there.
Your purpose, that's what you were talking about.
Yeah. When I was in there, I remember that feeling.
Yeah.
That hopelessness, that, just miserable feeling.
Yeah.
And now being out of that for just a little bit of time I have, I don't want no one to have to feel the way I felt.
Right.
And I also know that they don't want to, that they'll change when they want to change. And, but I still try sometimes.
Definitely, man. And you tell me about those stories too. It's like you try to give your advice and everything too. You feel like you're not good enough to give your advice, but like you got 4 years of sobriety, so that's That's some. I would try to take that advice if I was, low. You know what I'm saying? So, bro, I really appreciate it. And if there's anything like advice that you would like to give, for like one last thing to anybody that's out there that's either struggling, we have a wide range of age group that's like watching this too.
Right.
So it's like you could be talking to your high school self, or you could be talking to your college age self, or you could be talking to somebody, that's got their own family but they're still struggling with that. You know what? I got this under control, and right. I can quit whenever I want type thing. Like what advice and like thing that you can give to them?
It sounds so cliche, but to never try it. Mm-hmm. There's nothing fun. There's nothing glamorous about it.
Yeah.
And if you do, and you're stuck in that life, never be afraid to ask for help.
Yeah.
There are so many people, like me, that are so willing to help.
Yeah.
And help you try to get better.
Yeah, definitely.
Don't be too afraid to ask for help.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing.
Definitely.
But if you can ever get over that, there's people out here that love you.
Yeah, man. That first step is probably the hardest one.
It is.
To actually make the effort to change.
Especially with me, coming from already getting sober once, that
right.
shame and embarrassment, you've let your whole family down. But
yeah.
I can speak from personal experience that they don't care how many times you've messed up before. That one time that sticks is worth it all.
Yeah, definitely, man. That's what's up. Well, I appreciate you again, bro. I love you.
I love you.
Appreciate it. I'm glad that you're here, man, and even like impacting the community within like the AA groups and like being a mentor for all of them and everything like that.
Yeah.
And even your own family as well. So appreciate. I gotta have you on when it's not such a serious conversation.
Right.
Because this guy's hilarious. Okay. And so, but anyway, man, I appreciate you. Is there any place that people can find any of your information about either following you, or like, I know you don't do social media.
No, I'm on Facebook.
I'm on Facebook. You throw out your Tinder account or something.
I do not have a Tinder account
anymore. Shout out to Beige. So I appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much. And for one, be sure to like and subscribe this podcast. It's on everything, on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts and everything. Be sure to like, subscribe, and rate and share with your friends. And be inspired by people that are continually to make a daily change. We're all human. We're all in this walk of life. And so it's great to do it with great people. And so I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you for tuning in to another Generation Y podcast. We'll see you next time.